Have you ever felt too small, too unqualified, or maybe even too ordinary for what God might be calling you to do? As a writer, I have found that my character's spiritual journey often mirrors things that are happening in my own life. Like writing their story is kind of a way of working through my own story. I wrote a book a few years ago set in Africa called Blood Covenant, and in it, the main character, Paige, feels far too small for the task that God is calling her to do, something that I can really relate to sometimes. Now, in this story, the fighting erupts between the government forces and a renegade group that's called the Ghost Soldiers, and in turn, thousands are forced to leave their homes. Paige is a doctor who works with Volunteers of Hope International, and she's sent to lead a team set up a refugee transient site where the immediate needs for shelter and water and sanitation and food and all those things are very, very critical. Now, Nick Gilbert, the hero, is a bush pilot who joins the team to help fly supplies in and out of the area. With the refugee camp already experiencing overcrowding and raids and uprising, a group of American mountain climbers are attacked by these ghost soldiers. Now, Paige's medical team responds immediately, rescues the survivors, and takes them into the camp. But then it's discovered that one of the trekkers is carrying an infectious disease. And so now the harrowing conditions of the camp get even worse. In desperate need of medicine to stop the spread, and the ghost soldiers blocking the only way out until their demands for amnesty are met, it won't be long before this disease is out of control and there's nowhere to run. No help on the horizon. Now, throughout the course of this book, Paige comes to the realization that if she's going to survive, she's going to have to admit her weaknesses and her fears and rely completely on God's strength. Paul has some powerful words in 2 Corinthians 12, 9 through 10 that have to do with these very same weaknesses. He said, "My grace is sufficient for you, my power made perfect in weakness." Think about that. He continues to say, "Therefore I will boast more gladly about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest in me. For when I am weak, I am strong." Here Paul's telling us that even though our weaknesses, we can still be made strong because of Christ's power. I don't know about you, but those words sound pretty incredible to me. And there's more. At the greatest moment of weakness, according to the world's point of view, Christ's death on the cross actually brought victory, allowing God to enter into a relationship with us through that sacrifice. He loves us that much. So if you're still thinking that you're too small, think again. There are numerous examples in the Bible of men and women who God called to serve him in extraordinary ways through his power. Gideon was victorious with only 300 men and a handful of trumpets and jars and torches. Esther became queen in order to save her people from the threat of death. David was a shepherd boy who became king of a nation, and the list goes on and on. So what does that have to do with you? Remember that God calls us in the middle of our ordinary, run-of-the-mill, take out the trash and drive the kids to school routine. Stop and ask yourself this question. How do you see God calling you to make a difference in the world? You might feel inadequate to follow his call, but just never forget that the God who created the universe loves you and wants to be your strength. He is the one who will give you the strength to do what he has called you to do. Until the next time.